All right. Thank you guys for sitting down with us tonight. Really appreciate you helping John out with his training. Just as you know what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through this sheet of paper to get to know you guys a little bit. You guys get to know me, tell you exactly why we're here, and then I'm going to show you what we do. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Okay, great. The 3 reasons why we're here tonight. The first reason is we get all of our clients through referrals. So if you guys like what you see, then we'll be asking you for some referrals tonight. They'll help John out. Second reason is if you see anything that we do that would help your situation, of course, we'd love to earn your business as a client. And the third reason is we're expanding in the area, and we're always looking for sharp people. So you guys may or may not be interested, but you might know somebody who is. So just kind of keep your mind open to that, okay? The first question I have for you guys, do you have someone right now that handles your current financial needs other than yourselves?
No.
No? Okay. All right. And Brandon, what's your current career right now? What do you?
I'm a contractor.
Okay, you're a contractor. All right, how long have you done that for?
Done it for about 7 years.
Okay, cool. And Tiffany, what do you do for work right now?
I do graphic design.
Graphic design. Okay, great. And Brandon, what do you like about your current career?
I like the money.
Okay. And what would you change about it? What is it you dislike about it?
I like more freedom.
More freedom? All right.
And make a little bit more money too, actually, even though I
Okay.
like the money I make.
Right. So you'd like to
And-
make more money? Okay,
yeah.
what else?
The market. You know, the
The
market
market.
fluctuates a lot,
Yeah.
and I don't like
The
being
uncertainty of the
stable.
market going up and down?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, great. Anything else you would change about it?
It's always a dirty environment
Okay.
on sites.
I was going job sites?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like to have it cleaner, like a cleaner type of work with the same amount of money or more.
Okay,
You know.
great. And how about you, Tiffany? What do you like about your current job right now?
It's creative. Yeah, I like
Allows you to be able to create.
be able to be creative and everything.
Okay,
Like that.
cool. And what would you change about it? What is it you dislike about it? Or
I'm stuck behind a desk all day. I don't get out.
oh yeah, it's no
Yeah.
fun. All right. How about anything else you'd change about it? You'd like to make more money or anything like that?
More money is always a good thing.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, let me ask you guys this: what are some things that you and your family would do differently if time and money were no issue? So let's say you guys won a $20 million lottery tomorrow, and you had an unlimited amount of money and unlimited amount of time. What are some things you would do differently, or some things that you dream about? For example, would you guys maybe build a dream home?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Where would it be? Would it be here in Vegas?
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
Vegas.
Okay. So your dream home.
Maybe
More
have a
land
second-
too.
Yeah, land.
Okay. Land. Dream home on land. Like land. Okay. Great. Would you have a second home maybe?
Yeah, travel.
Yeah.
Traveling definitely.
Okay.
I like the beach.
Okay, the beach. All right.
Yeah.
So where would you travel to? Where's some places you guys would travel to?
Like San Diego for close, for
Okay.
close travel. But also, I'd love to go travel in the tropics.
Okay.
Yeah, I've thought about
Bahamas?
that before.
Islands?
Bahamas.
Hawaii.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Bahamas, Hawaii, anywhere else?
I think I'd love to go to Europe.
Yeah,
Europe.
All over
Okay.
Europe.
Awesome. How about cars? So would you guys put some dream cars in the driveway of that dream home?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What kind of car would you drive, Brandon? What's your dream car?
Ferrari 458.
A Ferrari. Okay. Awesome.
Wouldn't mind a nice Audi.
All right. Ferrari. Tiffany, you would drive an Audi. Awesome.
Yeah, she likes Audis.
Okay. Great. How about any charities you guys would give to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Is there anyone in particular? Probably
Church,
Okay.
to start
Church.
with.
Church?
Yeah, definitely,
Make a wish.
tie them.
Make a wish too.
Make a wish?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. How about any hobbies? I mean, any hobbies you guys would do more of or you would start, maybe playing golf or anything like that?
Do more photography.
Photography? Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
I'd love to own a plane. It's always been out of reach, though.
Okay, so you'd like to be a pilot?
Yeah.
Okay, great. How about any toys? Would you buy toys, jet skis, four-wheelers, snowmobiles, boats, any of that kind of stuff?
I wouldn't mind a boat for the lake at
Yeah.
A boat?
Jet
Okay.
skis.
Boat.
Awesome. Boat and jet skis. How about, would you pay for higher education for the kids?
all. I think private schools wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah,
Private
definitely.
schools? Okay.
Start saving for college too.
Okay. Private schools and college. Anything else? Is there anything else you would do that maybe is really important to you guys? Maybe retire your parents or anything like that?
Definitely retire.
Definitely.
Parents.
How
Yes.
important is that to you guys?
This is very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure the family's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, let me ask you guys, to live this dream life you guys just described, to build your dream home with the land, to be able to have a second home, to be able to travel, to all the different islands, whether it's the Bahamas or Hawaii or Europe, to be able to drive your dream cars, to give all the money you'd like to give your church and the foundations, to be able to have all the toys you'd like to have, send your kids to the best schools, and provide them with college, to be able to retire your parents, to be able to have that life. How much annual income do you think it would take to accomplish all those goals?
No idea. Any ideas?
At least $500,000.
Half a
Yeah.
million, 500,000 a
Probably
year.
more.
Yeah, I would say.
Okay, so we'll say
minimum.
500,000 plus.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, let me ask you this: when was your current career going to allow you to accomplish making $500,000 a year?
Never.
Not
Never?
even between both of us.
Okay. Well, obviously, there's a reason why I asked that question. Because if we could show you a way that would help you reach your goals, that would give you more money, more security, and freedom than your current career, would either of you be open to exploring that option?
Absolutely.
Yeah? Okay, great. How about this? What age are you guys on track to be able to retire right now? Do you know?
I think
have no idea.
65.
Okay, maybe
I
not,
don't
not
know.
quite sure exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. How about what's your ideal retirement age besides yesterday, today, or tomorrow?
50.
50? Okay, great. So if we put together a plan that would allow you to hit that goal and it made sense, would you follow it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Let me tell you guys a little bit about why I decided to get involved with Primerica. I used to do advertising and marketing for a living, and I actually got my pay cut, and I was frustrated, and I had a guy who'd been following up with me for a year and a half, and he just happened to call me on the same day my pay had gotten cut. And I really loved what I did, before I got here, and I never thought this is what I would do for a living, to be honest with you. But after I sat down with them, I was blown away by what they did for people, and so I decided to get started with them part-time, working one night a week, and went full-time my second year. And I really came here because I saw that Primerica would give me two things. Number one, it was give me freedom of my time, but number two is I can earn an unlimited income. I always wanted both, and I didn't want to sacrifice one for the other, and I saw Primerica would do that, and they came through tenfold, which I'm going to talk to you guys about at the end. And so that's why I came here. What kept me here is really what we do for people. So as I go through my presentation, I want you to ask yourself three questions. Okay, number one, is Primerica a credible company? Do we do what we say we're going to do? I think that's very important. I'm sure you guys would agree, right? Number two is what Primerica does for families life-changing. Not do we just sell a product, but do we make a positive impact in people's lives? I'm sure you guys would agree that's important as well, right? And then the third thing is, who do you know who might benefit from meeting with us? Maybe this will help. But you guys, do you want to play a little game with me, like a word association game, just kind of get your mind thinking? What I want to do is just go through, who can you think of just off the top of your head, just first names only. Obviously, I can't do anything with first names. First names only of people that are married, have kids, and own a home.
Anthony.
Anthony. Okay, who else?
Jesse?
Jesse. Who else?
Tony.
Tony. Okay, who else?
Jake?
Jake. Okay, who else?
Kenny.
Kenny. Who
Sarah?
else? Sarah? Okay. Who else?
Ryan.
Ryan. All right. Anyone else? Married, got kids, and owns a home?
Randy?
Randy, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who else?
Shalene.
Shalene. Anyone else? How about just married and has kids?
Brad?
Brad?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else?
Another Anthony, actually.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
How about this? How about who can you think of as a kind of just a word association? Who can you think of who's the most motivated individual you've ever met? They're always moving forward. They're always motivated. Who's the first person that comes to your mind when I say the word motivated?
It'd have to be Tim.
Tim. Okay. How about ambitious? They're always trying to do something else. They're a very ambitious person. Who's the first person that comes to your mind when I say ambitious?
Tony.
Tony. Okay. How about enthusiastic? Who's the most excited person you guys always have? When I say the word enthusiastic, who's that first person?
Adam.
Adam. Okay. How about teacher? Maybe they're a teacher by trait, maybe not, but they're always trying to teach you a new fact, or they always have that fact. Who's the first person that comes to mind to you guys when I say that?
Cynthia.
Cynthia. Okay. And then last person, salesperson. Probably not a salesperson by trait, but who's the person in your guys' life that's always telling you about the restaurant that you need to go to or the movie you need to go see? Who's that person in your guys' life?
Probably be, let's see here, David.
Okay, David. Okay, great. Now, obviously, I can't do anything with first names. So what I'm going to do is, if you guys like what we see tonight, these referrals will help John out with his training. So if you guys like what you see, I'm just going to ask you for the contact info for these referrals if you like what you see tonight, okay?
Okay.
Okay, great. All right, have you guys ever heard of Primerica before?
No.
No.
No? Okay, some people have, some people haven't. We don't do any first-party advertising, so you're never going to see us on a TV commercial or a billboard or any kind of radio ad. This is our advertising. It's all face-to-face, word of mouth. A little bit about us. We're the largest independent financial services marketing organization in North America. Most people just don't know that since we don't advertise. We are listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Our ticker symbol is PRI. We've been in business since 1977, and we have more than 6 million clients. And our mission as a company is to help families earn more income and become properly protected, debt-free, and financially independent, which I'm sure you guys would agree that people need those things today more than ever before in the history of our country, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why we're growing so fast is, unfortunately, there's all these financial challenges that are happening in our country today. You know, you look at the debt crisis. They say the average credit card debt amongst households with balances on their cards is almost $16,000. They say income protection, 95 million adult Americans have no life insurance coverage. And if they do have it, they usually have it through their job, right? And smartmoney.com said if you get life insurance as a job benefit, that's fine, but it should never be all you have. You can't count on keeping it. If you lose your job, you become disabled or can no longer work. And then you look at the savings industry. They say 43% of American workers have less than $10,000 in savings, which how's anybody going to retire if they have less than $10,000?
It won't.
They're not, right? And the reason I believe all these three things are happening is because jobs and careers. They say half of new graduates are either jobless or underemployed, and 8 in 10 or 77% of workers in our country live paycheck to paycheck just to make ends meet. I mean, think about this. We live in the wealthiest country on earth, and 8 out of 10 people are 2 weeks away from losing everything, which is crazy. Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
So let me ask you, how real and serious would you say these problems are?
Very.
They're very real and very serious, right? So think about this. If you had a business that could solve every single one of these problems for the average middle-class American, you would have your hands on a phenomenal opportunity, I'm sure you'd agree, right?
Absolutely.
And so we have the answers, which is why we're growing so fast. You know, so this is an actual family that we helped. Obviously, we changed their names, but we'll call them Bob and Susan. So they were 35, 33, and they had 2 kids, which is a pretty typical family, right? Right. So before Primerica, we looked at their auto and homeowners insurance. Now, they were paying $152 towards auto and $91 towards home. And so all we've done is we've partnered with the top 20 largest companies in the nation, and we just find a company that'll give them the same or more coverage for less money. So now we're able to cut it down to $106 and $72, freeing up $65 a month, which is pretty exciting on some of these auto insurance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know, we'll look and see if we can save you some money here in just a second, okay?
Okay.
The next thing we did is look at their debt. Now, they didn't have a lot of debt. They had $47,000 in consumer debt, which a car today is $40,000, right? But that's, 2 cars, credit cards, student loans, medical bills, all that kind of stuff. They had $194,000 on their mortgage, 23 years left. They were paying $27.20 towards their debts, and they'll be out of debt at the age of 58, which is a pretty typical situation, right? So what we did is we partnered with Equifax. And have you guys ever heard of Equifax before? Yeah, okay. And so we partnered with them to set up a program called Debt Watchers Fast Pay Plan. And so basically we just take their same debts, same payment, but now we get them out of debt at the age of 44 versus 58. So now we saved them 14 years in payments and $130,000 in interest. Is that incredible or what?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, if you sit down with someone and save them 14 years of payments at $2,700 a month, how are they going to feel?
Incredible.
They're going to be excited,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I don't know your guys' current debt situation, but I'm guessing if we can help you pay off the debt that you do have faster, that's something you'd be open to, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great. And like I say, everybody's situation is different, so we'll look and see here in a minute. The next thing we looked at was their life insurance. Do you guys own personal life insurance outside of work?
No.
No? Have you ever thought about getting it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Great. Well, the main reason I ask is a lot of times when people do have life insurance outside of work, they usually have what's called cash value life insurance. And there's a lot of names for it, whole life, universal life, variable life, but it all works the same pretty much. So Bob had $150,000 in coverage, Susan had $150,000 in coverage, they had no coverage on the kids, and they were paying $298 a month. Well, the problem is if Bob dies, can Susan pay off $250,000 in debt with $150,000? No. But why didn't they get more coverage? They probably couldn't afford it. So why did they buy it? Because the agent sits down and says, look, I'm going to give you life insurance, but it's going to have a savings program attached. And Bob says, sounds pretty good. I'll protect my family, save some money, right? But guess what the agent didn't tell Bob? That if he dies, his wife gets one or the other, not both. So if I told you you paid for 2 things your whole life, in the end you got one, what would you call that?
A ripoff.
You would, right?
Yeah.
And we believe the same thing. So we just teach them to buy a term policy. So we put $400,000 in coverage on Bob, $400,000 in coverage on Susan, $25,000 on the kids for $101. So now if something happens to Bob, can Susan pay off $250,000 in debt with $400,000?
Mm-hmm.
No problem, right? And doing it for $101, we freed up $197 a month, which is incredible, right? So now we could have 3 times the coverage for far less money per month, which we can take that money, we can go invest it somewhere else, which they were never going to get over here anyway,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the next thing we did is look at their retirement. Now they had $20,000 in an IRA at the bank. They were saving $100 a month, and at 67, they'll have $116,000 saved. Now, are they ever going to retire on $116,000?
No.
It's never going to happen, right? So what we do is take their IRA and roll it into mutual funds. We increase their contributions to $362, which is this $65 we freed up here, the $197 we freed up here, plus the $100 they were already saving. And so now at 67, they'll have $1.1 million versus $116,000. Is that incredible or what?
Yes.
I mean, honestly, they went from never being able to retire to being able to retire in dignity.
Right.
So think about this. If you guys were in this situation and somebody put you in this situation, how would you feel about that person?
Very good.
You would, right? And how would it feel to do that for somebody?
You
Good.
feel great.
It would feel great, right? And so we'll look and see how we can help you guys here in a second. But before we do that, let me show you how we get paid, okay? We teach people to start part-time as what's called a district leader with our company. So let's say you started part-time as a district leader. You help the family in these 4 areas. The company would pay you $1,057, which takes about 2 or 3 hours to do. So honestly, if you made $1,057 in 2 or 3 hours, how many families are you going to help in a month?
As many as I could.
As many as you can, right? So let's say you did 1 a week. That's 4 a month. What's 4 times 1,000?
4,000.
That's $4,000 a month. So if you started making $4,000 a month consistently, month in, month out, you're probably thinking about making a career change, right? So you make a career change, you become a regional vice president. Now this is where our company gives you ownership. So now that you own it, you get 100% of the contract. So now to have those same 4 families, you would make $1,908 instead of the $1,000, right? So now if you help those same 4 families in a month, 4 times 2,000 is what? $8,000 a month, which is an incredible income. But the problem is you're still self-employed. And the problem being self-employed or an employee in America is if you don't show up to work, how much money do you get paid?
No.
Nothing.
None. If you get sick, you don't make any money, right? You have to be there to make money. But think about a business owner or like Steve Wynn. Does he have to show up at the casino to get paid?
No.
No, right? He still gets paid regardless. So I always wanted to be the owner because I believe time is something we can never buy back, but we can buy forward. I'm sure you guys would agree, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let me show you how we teach people to do that. Let's say you guys owned your own office. You guys were regional vice presidents and you hired and trained me as a district leader. Would you deserve to be paid for training me?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Of course, right? So you train me, I become a district leader, and I get good, and I go out and help this family, and I make $1,000. Am I excited?
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited. It probably maybe took me 2 weeks to make that at my job before you found me, right? So who do I call when I leave there? I call you guys for training me. I call you up. I say, Brandon and Tiffany, I'm so excited. I just helped this family save some money on their auto and home, got them out of debt 14 years sooner, properly protected their family, plus I put $1 million extra in their retirement, and I made $1,000. I'm so excited I'm not going to be able to sleep. And what do you say? Great job, buddy. If you did it once, you can do it 1,000,000 times. You hang up the phone, and the company pays you the difference of the contract of $851 for training me, but you didn't even have to be there. So if you made $851 every time you hired and trained a guy like me, how many of me would you train?
As many as possible.
You would, right? As many as you could. But let's be realistic. Let's say over the next 12 to 18 months, you hired and trained 10 agents, which that's very conservative. You could do that no problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say those 10 agents just help 1 family a month, not 1 a week like we were talking, because we know some will do more, some will do less, right? So let's say those 10 agents help 1 family in 1 month. What's 10 times 851?
$8,500.
$8,500 a month, which is an incredible income. And so now you have a business with a good income and freedom, right? So let me show you how realistic this is to happen, because a lot of people ask me, well, it sounds good, but what actually happened? So this is what happened to me. The guy who trained me, his name is Brandon Neal. And he started in 2001, worked 2 nights a week his first year learning the business, and made an extra $20,000. Which isn't a ton of money, but for 2 nights a week worth of work, an extra $1,600 a month on average is pretty dang good, right? Mm-hmm. So at the end of that year, he thought, man, if I could work 3 or 4 nights a week, quit my job, run my own schedule, I'd be set. So he quit his job, went full time. He didn't make $40,000, he made $104,000 his second year in the business. And so when I met him, I told him, I said, look, Brandon, if you can teach me how to make $50,000 a year with your freedom, I'll be the happiest guy in the world. So I started with him in 2006. I worked 1 night a week. My first year made $14,996, which again is not a ton of money, but it was an additional $1,200 a month in addition to my job. So at the end of that year, I believed that I could do it. So I quit my job. My wife and I moved to Boise, Idaho, and we were scared to death. We didn't know anything about owning a business or anything, but our first 12 months made $114,000, which is incredible. You can see what happened to our income. We started making $14,000, $24,000, $19,000 a month. It changed our lives, you know. So I don't know. You guys have any questions on any of this?
No.
No? Okay, great. Well, I have a question for you. After seeing all of this, what would you say would interest you more? A part-time business you could own one day, a complementary financial game plan, or both?
Both.
Both? Okay, great. Well, I'm going to start with the first one, so I'll explain to you kind of the keys for success in getting started with our company, okay? The first thing is to show up to all meetings and trainings, which sounds like a lot, but it's really only one night a week from 7 to 10:30. We do trainings on Thursday nights from 7 to 10:30. So is there anything, or is that something you guys can do, or at least rearrange your schedule in the future to be able to do?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, okay, great. The second thing is go on 15 training appointments with a field trainer so I can teach you how to do this. I'm not just going to send you out there and say, hey, I hope you figure it out. I'm going to take you out there and I'm going to teach you exactly how to do it. So I'm guessing that's something you guys can do, no problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the third thing is you submit what's called an independent business application with $99. Obviously, we have to get you licensed with the state of Nevada, and it cost us $659 to get a license with the state of Nevada, right? And so we pay the $659 for your license. You pay the $99 for your background check. So if we're going to pay $659, is that $99 an issue?
No.
No? Okay, great. And then this $25 a month is just optional. It just allows you to be able to do everything from home, allows you to do all the applications electronic. It's totally an option. It's not something required, but you're probably going to want it, okay? The fourth thing is complete a financial needs analysis for you and your family's future, so you know exactly what it is that we're going to be doing out there and knowing exactly how much we change families' lives, which we'll just do that here in a second, okay? So a question I have for you is how many days a week part-time can you guys work?
I think at least 3 days, 4 days.
3 or 4 days a week? Okay, which 3 or 4 days were you thinking?
Probably Monday through Thursday.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good. Well, let me explain to you what's going to happen, okay? What's going to happen is I'm going to get your application started. I'm going to ask you some background questions, then we'll get your background check started tonight, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay, great. Do me a favor and grab your driver's license. All right, so on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how would you guys rate your desire to become properly protected, debt-free, and financially independent?
10.
Yeah.
A 10? Okay, great. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ask you some questions to see how we can help you do those things, become properly protected, debt-free, and financially independent. And the first thing I'm going to do is see if we can save you some money on your auto and home. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call them. And like I said before, we'll call it, and they'll call the top 20 companies and see if there's any company that'll give you a better rate than what you currently have. And if they can save you money, I don't want you to move forward tonight just for sake of time. We'll get their contact info, and you guys can call back tomorrow if that's something you decide you wanted to do. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, great. All right, so obviously we were able to save you guys $40 a month on your auto and homeowners insurance. And the first question I have for you is, how much monthly income would you guys like to receive at retirement in today's dollars, assuming you were totally debt-free?
$5,000 actually.
$5,000? Okay, great. And what age would you like to retire at?
65?
65? Okay, great. And do you guys have a checking account?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Okay, how about a savings account?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let me ask you this. How much liquid cash do you guys have in checking, savings, emergency fund, all that kind of stuff?
2,000.
2,000? Okay. And you guys said you don't have any personal life insurance, is that correct?
No.
Okay. And Brennan, do you have a retirement account right now?
I do.
Is it a 401k, IRA?
401k.
401k? Okay. And what's the value of it right now? How much do you have saved in there?
15,000.
15. And how much are you saving per month?
About $150.
150. Yeah. Okay. And Tiffany, do you have any retirement account right now?
Yeah, I've got a 401k.
A 401k? Okay, great. And what's the balance of your 401k?
About 10,000.
10,000. Okay, great. And then, are you contributing to it monthly?
Yeah, it's about
$100. Okay, great. And then, do you guys have any consumer debt, cars, credit cards, student loans, any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. How much? If you added it all together, how much would you say it is?
It's 25,000.
Yeah.
$25,000 a month, or $25,000 in debt?
Mm-hmm.
And then, what's the value of your home right now? What's the market value?
200,000.
200,000. Okay. And what do you owe on it?
About 190.
190,000. And what's your payment? You're
1,300,
1,300. Okay, great. And how many years do you have left on that?
about 24 years.
24. Okay. So let me ask you guys this: if we could pay off your debt 5 to 10 years sooner, would that interest you?
Absolutely.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay, great. Let me ask you guys this question: what would you say is your most valuable asset?
Probably the home.
The home.
Mhm.
Okay, usually that's what I get. You know, the home, the cars, the kids, the spouse. That's pretty much what everybody says. But really, what is it that provides for all those things?
My job.
Your income, right? So let's say, Brandon, you make $50,000 a year, and you work for the next 20 years. That's $1 million you're going to bring into your household. So right now, do you have anything in your life worth more than $1 million?
No.
No, right? So that's why it's so important to have income protection. So that's why experts recommend having 8 to 10 times the amount of your income in life insurance. For example, if you make $50,000 a year, you should have about $500,000 in protection. So when a family like yours doesn't have any life insurance outside of work or is underinsured, it's usually due to one of the following reasons. They didn't understand it, they didn't think they could afford it, or they never got around to it, which sounds like you.
I think we can afford it.
Didn't think you could afford it?
Yeah.
Okay. And Brandon, what's your monthly gross income right now?
4,000.
4,000. Okay, and how about yours, Tiffany?
About 3,000.
3,000. Brandon, what's your date of birth?
It's 6/25 of 1983.
83. Okay, and do you use tobacco in any form?
No.
No. Okay. And Tiffany, what's your date of birth?
It's 11/10/84.
11/10/84. And do you use tobacco in any form?
No.
No. Okay. And you guys have 2 kids, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and do you guys have any college savings for them?
We don't.
No.
No? Okay. And what are their names again?
Max and Julia.
Max, Julia, and what's Max's date of birth?
April 5th, 06.
April 5th, 2006. And what's Julia's date of birth?
February 7th, 2008.
February 7th, 2008. Okay, awesome. And do you guys have a will right now?
No.
No. If we're affordable, would you like to have one?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Do you guys usually receive a tax refund?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah. How much did you get back this year?
2,900.
$2,900. Okay. The reason why I ask that is usually what happens when we get a big refund, all that's happening is the IRS is taking too much money out of our paycheck. So we're basically giving the IRS too much money. They're giving it back to us at the end of the year interest free. Where if we could take that money, we can use it to pay off debts that are accruing interest against us or invest for our retirement to accrue interest for us, right? So for every exemption we add to your W-4s, that'll reduce your refund by about $600. So if you guys got a $2,900 refund, we can adjust your W-4s by 4, and that's $600 a year each, which is $2,400 or $200 a month, and it'll still give you guys a little bit of a cushion, okay? So what I want you to do is talk to whoever does your taxes and talk to them about adjusting your W-4s by about 4 exemptions, okay?
Okay.
And then on savings for your retirement, experts say we should budget 15% of our gross income to our financial program, if on a tight budget 10%, and if low overhead 20%. What best describes you saving, 10, 15, or 20%?
10% actually.
10%?
I would say, yeah.
Okay, 10% is about $700 a month. Let me ask you, is that an amount you guys could feel comfortable saving every single month?
It's a little high.
A little
Yeah.
high? How much of the 700 do you think you could save right now if you were to start today?
Probably 250.
Yeah.
250? Okay, cool. All right, so what I'm going to do is put together some numbers real quick, and then we'll go through them. I'll put together a game plan for you guys, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
So let me explain to you where I get these numbers from, all right? First of all, we've got the $740. So let me explain to you where I get it from. First of all, you guys said you could save an extra $250 a month. Is that something you guys still feel like you can do?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And then we're able to save you $40 a month on your auto and home. You're currently contributing $250 a month towards your retirement program. And we can also free up $200 a month from adjusting your W-4s as well. So if I add all that up, that gives me $740. Does that make sense where I get the $740 from?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Well, today you guys have young children, higher debt, and a mortgage, so a loss of income would be devastating. Would you agree?
Oh,
Yeah.
So in order to protect what would be devastating, we're going to put $480,000 on you, Brandon, $360,000 on you, Tiffany, $25,000 on each of the kids for $140. We're going to take the $140 from the $740. It leaves us $600 a month to invest. We're going to invest that $600 a month along with the $25,000 you currently have saved, and at the age of 67, you're going to have $2.8 million. So now at retirement, Your kids are grown, you have lower debt, your mortgage is paid, and all you need is your retirement income. You're now self-insured. So let me ask you guys this. How does that look for both the coverage and monthly premium? Would you say it looks too high, too low, or perfect?
That's
Perfect.
Looks good? Okay, great. So you guys are willing to budget $140 a month to properly protect your family?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Have you guys ever had an issue qualifying for life insurance coverage in the past?
No.
No? Do you have any questions?
No.
Great. What we'll do is see if we can get you qualified for the coverage. What's going to happen is it's going to take me about 6 to 8 weeks to get you guys qualified for the coverage. I am going to take your first month's premium tonight. It will allow me to conditionally cover you from when I leave your home tonight, okay?
Okay.
Great. Do me a favor. You guys grab your driver's license for me?